What phones, iPhones, should you buy used in the month of May? Now, everybody out there, I want you to understand if you're a phone flipper, that buying used phones is okay. I've heard a bunch of different people tell me different reasons why they are scared to buy used phones. I want to get one of the elephants out of the room right now, though. When it comes to buying a phone, if you're worried if that phone is going to be blacklisted, I want to tell you something. Get over it. The reason I want to tell you that is because there's no way for you to decide whether a phone is worth buying and then factoring in, okay, I'll buy it, but oh my God, it might go blacklisted. Every phone that you purchase may go blacklisted. Let's make that clear, okay? Especially if it's a used phone. And I'll give you guys a really good example. I'm sitting in my store. Two people come into my store. It was a couple. And I remember their faces like it was yesterday because this was actually a really big eye opener for me. These people come in, they say, hey, I would like to sell my iPhone 13 Pro Max. And then the girl said, I would like to sell my iPhone 13 Pro Max as well. I said, okay. I said, what company? They said T-Mobile. I said, great. I said, how much? What you guys looking for? They said some astronomically insane price. And then I said a really cheap price, and they just agreed to the cheap price, and I brought the phones. Now, when I cashed them out for the phones, I looked at the phones and I said, these phones got your personal information on them. Please take it off. And they did. They took off the personal information. So they go and take off the personal information, and my dumb behind didn't think at the time, why the heck is this looking like they're real legitimate phones? They're like the phones they actually use. And I do remember talking to them and asking them, like, what phones do you have now? And I remember them saying, well, these are the phones. We're about to actually go and upgrade in a little bit. Now, it didn't dawn on me, why would you go and upgrade and not trade in this phone, right? So long story short, they walked out the store. I cashed them out. They blacklisted the phones. They reported the phones lost and stolen. If you don't know what blacklisted is, usually how phone goes blacklisted is if you don't pay your bill and you go ahead and skip out and you just jump ship from that carrier, or if you just get a phone, if you lose it and somebody's trying to use your phone, you report it lost or stolen, then it becomes blacklisted. A blacklisted device is a device that can't be used on that carrier any longer. A blacklisted device is a device that, for some people that don't have price lists, like the phone flipping buyers price list we have on Hustlertaughtme.com, where we actually buy blacklisted phones. We actually have buyers that we have about 13 buyers that buy iCloud Lock and blacklisted phones for top dollar. But anyway, there is a stigma that people are very afraid of actually buying phones because they're scared it may go blacklisted. Newsflash, there's no way of guaranteeing that somebody won't blacklist the phone. Usually what some buyers do is they'll be like, hey man, this ain't gonna go blacklisted, is it? And then the person says no and they feel comfortable. Me, I don't say nothing about it because at the end of the day, there's no way for me to guarantee it won't. The only way you could actually avoid this is by selling the phone as soon as possible and not sitting on it, because if it becomes blacklisted in the buyers in the wholesale buyers' hands, then it's their fault, right? It's their loss, right? So that's the way to look at it. Don't be scared to buy used phones. Now let's hop into this video because I don't want to hold you guys up for too long. Now, what I like to say is, one thing I am not going to tell you guys to do is buy phones that are new. Yeah, I'm not, okay? I'm just not, all right? I'm just not. That's it. That's just it. I'm not. Do not buy iPhone 16s used. Now, this is one thing I'll say, because I do think I need to stick a sock in it, because I'm kind of in the middle. Because while I don't want you guys to buy iPhone 16s because they're not worth the money that people are trying to sell them for, you may, because I have recently, last week, been able to find a few iPhone 16s that are pretty affordable, especially on OfferUp. And the iPhone 16 is kind of devalued right now. Now, a phone that is very inflated is going to be like the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Another inflated phone is going to be the iPhone 16 Pro, because people still deem these phones to be really, really valuable. What I would say is, if you do have to and you want to, and this would be my number one phone for you guys. Well, now this is not ranked, okay? Because this would definitely not be the number one phone I would flip. But iPhone 16, you buy that, it's worth $400, as you guys see, right? So $400 minus our little 50, that's $350, right? You probably can offer somebody $300 for an iPhone 16, and they'll probably argue up to like $350, $360. You come out. Now, the way I would sell an iPhone 16 is I probably would sell it to a consumer before I sell it to a wholesale buyer, because a consumer will find that more valuable. A consumer that may need that device, they'll buy it before, anybody else. So I would definitely sell it to a consumer, knowing that a consumer probably would buy it based off of impulse, and that's something I would enjoy and like, right? Now, a locked iPhone, that is going to be a little bit more iffy, because a locked iPhone 16 is worth $280. An unlocked iPhone 16 is worth $400. Now, an unlocked iPhone is the one that I was saying I would buy. A 16 locked device for $280. I still would buy it, but it would be really hard to get it for under $250. So what I would say is, if you do have the chance to buy an iPhone 16 locked, what I want you to do is always anticipate only being able to sell it to a consumer. All right. The next phone that I would recommend, so we have the iPhone 16 unlocked and then the iPhone 16 locked. Okay. The next phone that I would say for you guys to buy right now would definitely 100,000% be an iPhone 15 Pro locked. An iPhone 15 Pro locked is a little bit like that middle child, like I said before, because it is $360 for 128. You go ahead, you buy that for like $275, and you're good. Okay, you can sell this to a consumer, you can sell this to a buyer. These devices can be sold easily because it's not really old, but it's not really new, and that's why people, when they're listing it, they don't have a high inflated price, and if they do, they're only inflating the price because they're trying to see who's going to offer them what. All right, the next type of device that I would go for is an iPhone 15, because of a similarity as well, because it is a phone that's not old but not new, is in the middle. I love in the middle phones because consumers can't decide what they want to list these phones for, so they usually go ahead and price hike and just make some crazy inflated price, but end up taking lower. So right now, the evaluation for this device for a 15 locked is going to be $230. For our 15 unlocked, $330. You can get this phone for anywhere unlocked between $550 to $570. You can get a locked iPhone 15, but it's not going to be one you're going to want to sell to a wholesale buyer for around like $200 to $250 if you're lucky. Now, the problem with this is you're not going to find a lot of people willing to do that based upon what they deem the phone to be valued at. So what I would recommend you guys to do is make sure that if you're going to buy a phone, especially an iPhone 15 locked or even a 16 locked, is always go into it thinking about selling to a consumer. Very important. All right, guys. And those are the phones I honestly would buy. I wouldn't dip too low into the 14 series. Now, I do have another 14 series one right here. But I wouldn't dip too low, because see, the iPhone 14 series, the price just keeps getting lower. But I do want to talk about this. The iPhone 13 Pro Max is still valuable. It's actually more valuable right now than ever as far as obtainable. It is obtainable for you to buy it for less than $300. So you can get an iPhone 13 Pro Max for like $285. And you can sell it to a consumer because consumers still have a high inflated value for it. So you can sell it to a consumer and make more money. I personally would buy an iPhone 13 Pro Max for like $285. I'll sell it to a consumer for like $350, $360. But I listed up on OfferUp for around like $400. Yeah, $410, $400. All right, guys. So again, if you guys need any help, don't ever hesitate to go ahead and tap in with your boy. I got courses and guides for you guys, and these all come with calls with me. I also have the phone flipping buyer's price list, and then of course the Hustler community, where you literally are mentored by me on a week-to-week basis. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.